Welcome to Mickey and My Craft. This is Hilda, your host. Today we're gonna start a stitch along for the autumn month. We're gonna start today because autumn goes in a flash and July is going very fast as far as I'm concerned. We are in the mid-year and before you know it, Christmas is here. So today we're gonna start this stitch along, but I'm gonna do like a mini tutorial because I got a couple of lovelies on my Facebook group that by the way, I'm gonna put the link of the Facebook group over here. It's called Beaded Stitches and Stamp Cross Stitch because not everybody likes diamond painting and not everybody likes cross stitch or beaded cross stitch, so I have to separate both pages so everybody will feel comfortable. So I'm gonna tell you first what is a stamp cross stitch and what is not, and we're gonna do it step by step. This one, I know what I said before, it's better to attack the lighter colors first, but we're gonna do something different for this one. I want to try that. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, when you get your kit, you get the thread, the fabric, and you get the chart. The chart and the symbols of the chart in the chart, they are different from the fabric. However, as you will see how I'm going to use at the beginning these two. Let me get this light off. Okay, you get this chart because those of you who like to do counter cross stitch can do it by using this chart. Okay, and this one has 32 color and there is no back stitch. Okay, now what is not a stamp cross stitch? A stamp cross stitch is not counted. You don't count anything. You don't fold the fabric in half and trying to find the middle point from the chart and start stitching there, especially if you have confetti when you're gonna have to start. Good luck with that, because I know I got frustrated and I stopped it until I found a stamp cross stitch over a year ago, and since then I'm fascinated because it's easier. You can do it a little bit faster than the counter cross stitch, and you basically and then you get the floss in the kit already. You don't have to be going around buying stuff, which usually turns out to be more expensive. Now, for the stamp cross stitch, the stamp cross stitch is not other than this photo or element stamp on the Ada cloth, because they use Ada cloth. However, the Ada cloth is a little more stiffer, and it turns to be stiffer due to the ink that is in there. Okay, and don't worry about the ink. And even when you do the stitch, if you can see a little bit of the ink, because sometimes the ink goes out of the space, or has less ink, and once you finish, the whole thing is washed. And I have a video on how to wash this stamp cross after you have done. However, also another thing is, when you get this fabric, you're gonna see all these symbols in here, right? Like we're seeing over here, different type of colors, different type of symbols, right? You're seeing that. Those symbols are down here at the bottom with the DMC code. By the way, All Joy Sunday comes with the DMC code in the fabric and in the chart. I'm going to explain you a little bit about the chart more later on, because we're going to tackle this in a different way. So you get the symbols over here. So all you have to do, like for example, you're starting on this corner, you get that green square. You look, that green square is a 310. Then you go to your thread and look for the 310. We're gonna talk about it and how to organize your thread. And then you start stitching that, okay? So there is a lot of confetti over here, so you might want to jump. The recommendation is don't jump more than 2 stitches, okay? And you can use another needle to continue stitching some other area. Now, sometimes the image that is stamped, you can distinguish, like in this case, we have the trees. Let me get you got the trees, and you got the house, right? And you got this little guy beside the tree, but that one is right here. You have to be looking at it, you know, real close. So, but that doesn't matter, because as you stitch, it continues taking form. But this is as simple as it gets, and it's so easy to learn, because all you have to do, and I suggest you do, you go by the symbol. However, sometimes you have a doubt. So this is when you go to the chart. However, the chart has different symbols, as you can see. Okay, what we're gonna do in this case, right, we're gonna do it by frame segmentation image. That's how they divide it, and I find that probably this is even the easiest way to do this, right? So we're gonna start with frame 1. This is how I'm gonna use the chart. We're gonna start with frame 1, okay? However, the frame 1, you see those lines, it means it has a boundary. And here it is, frame number 1, because it tells you in the page. The number of frame is gonna be equal to the number of pages of imaging that you're gonna have. That's frame number 1. This is frame number 2, right? Frame number 3, 4, 5, 6, frame number 6, right? 7 and 8. And if you look at it, let me find it over again, because I folded the pages. And if you look at it, like frame number 4, which is this one, this is frame number 4, which is this one, they match. So the chart, in most cases, because not all of them have them, in most cases they will bring the segmentation image, and you have the pages divided, okay? So we're gonna start with number 1, with this one, frame number 1. That's what we're gonna start the cross stitching, but we're not gonna do it right now. I'm gonna stop it over here, because we're gonna talk about the thread, and then we come back over here, okay? Okay. How I keyed up my thread. Okay, some people use the little hole ones, and that's fine, I guess. Some people use these caddies. This is a 30 and this is a 50. The kit has 32. Okay, I could have used the 30 and leave the other two in the carton, but it turns out to be that all of them, there's a lot of the thread. Okay, so here it is, how it comes usually. Okay, and here how it gets tangled at the end. However, on mine, even I put it down, each one, you can see all those beautiful autumn columns. Each one, they are stay in place, right? These long ones, I made it like this because it was too much to put it in between this. Okay, let me show you with this one. When you buy this kit, okay, you're gonna have these fleeting flops, and you're gonna have this little piece of paper. They bring you quite a few where you write the number, and this over here is to put it a pin or the needle that you're using, right? Something that I heard is that a lot of people break needles. But something that I know for working on metal jewelry before is that metal tends to soften sometimes and tends to harden depending on what it is, and that you need to apply equal strength. Okay, so what I did is I grabbed all needles from all the kids, the 14 counts, right? And then I assign a needle to each of the colors while I'm putting it. Okay, but first I put the thread and then I put the needle on it. Okay, and I'm gonna show you, I left 4 of them so we can do it today to finish kitting it up. We're gonna do this video. Is gonna take a little bit of time, but it's gonna be worth it if you want to learn this. Okay, so I'm just trying to get rid of trying to get you closer. So here it is, we're gonna kit color 29, which is right here, and you can see that I have to untangle. You can imagine that you have to every time let me put it up. Every time that you need a group of threads, that you have to take all that thing out. No. Okay, so what I do is once I take it out, I fold it in half, right? And then I fold it again if it's that thin. Like I said, those other two I only folded in half once because it's too much black and it's too much cream color in there. Okay, so and what I do toward the ends, I do a slight knot. This is to avoid the ends gets tangled together with the other ones. Just a light knot, don't tighten it out. Okay, and what you do is you put it, I open up, stretch it over here, and you see this little notch or whatever standing up. You put it in there, right? You put it through there. The whole thing is not going there. I'm just trying to do it. Okay. Okay, so you saw I put it in there, and then you go between these 2 notches. You can raise them a little bit because these are foam, and leave it over there, right? Now let's go to the next one. I decided to leave these 4 so you will see the repetition on how I do it. I'm an organizer and tool freak because due to my previous work on jewelry, if you don't get organized, you have to get organized. You're gonna go crazy. However, it's you don't have to use this, but try to get organized. Again, I fold it in half, right? I just fold it in half. Let me see if I can. Okay, sorry about that. I just fold it in half. We have 2 more to do. And then, since it's thin, I fold it again. And that's it. And then I grab this like this, put it in the notch, right, and leave it over there. Let's go. This one is very thin. You see, it gets all tangled with the rest, and I don't like it, because when you're cross stitching, you want you know, to have ease of your threads so you can go faster. Cross stitching, stamp cross stitching is faster than counter cross stitch, but still is slower than diamond painting. So you saw me that I folded in half, okay? It was folded in half, and then I folded in half again, and you do the knot, and you do a light knot. You don't tie it out, and then you put it in here. Okay, you see that the other ones are not getting tangled between each other. They might move around, but again, we're gonna get this right from the cotton. I'm gonna throw this away because honestly I don't care about that piece of cotton. You know, you got the long strand, right? We're gonna fold it in half. This case we can fold it in half again. Doesn't have to be a perfect half, okay? By the way, if you're a perfectionist, well, you can do it that way, but it doesn't have to be a perfect half. But the strands should not be all tangled like in here, okay? And then you do the knot, right? And that's it. And then we're gonna put it in here. I already keyed up the rest so we could, you know, because if I do this in the video, the whole thing, it's gonna take longer, although there's always the speeding, but these depend on what is your preferred method of this. Now, I had this little gadget that I bought on Amazon where I put my 14 needles. I already even mark it as a 14 count. So, and I got my needles over here, and I only need to put 1 needle on each. Why? Because while you are stitching, right, you want to play it, especially if you have a strong hand. I don't have a strong hand. I learned to have a soft hand because of the diamond painting. I'm using the patty wax, but I only needed those. I already needed those to finish. So now I'm already keyed up and ready to go, right? So going back now to start. Going back on what we were talking about. Hold on just a moment. Again, you get this fabric, right? And you get the symbols, right? And I usually go by the fabric symbol unless I have it out. But we were talking that the symbols over here are completely different, okay, than what you have over here. This is, if you like the pattern, if you like to do it in both stamp and counted, you have the pattern over here to do it as a counted cross stitch, or you can give it to somebody else who like to do counted cross stitch, okay? And here they are. This is fragmented, and we said that we're gonna start with frame 1, right? Frame 1. Okay, I said previously that when you get this fabric, it's an 8 cloth, it's a 14 count, and it's a stiff. So one thing that I usually do is this. You can do this. Well, my hands are not good right now because they found me another form of arthritis, so you know. You can do that, you know, wrinkle it a couple of times. If you can see, I can hardly use this finger. You just wrinkle it to soften it up a little bit, a few times. Okay, still it's gonna be a little stiff, but the type of frame that you use is up to you. But I have my own technique of cross stitching, and we will know about it. But for now, we're gonna know how to start the frame. It's gonna be a little bit of a long video. Probably I put it on the, I say premiere, because we're gonna do some stitching. I'm still wrinkling because, like I said, I have some difficulties with my hands, but I don't let that detain me. Well, okay, it's wrinkled, but it's okay. So now, to start this, I got my tools over here, my threaded, my finger cover, and something to put the needle with the threads. And this little box, that's what I use to put the group of strands that I'm going to be using. Okay, so we're going to start with frame 1. Here it is. Now, we need to establish a boundary, okay? So we don't go over, so we can start doing the frame 1, okay? I'm going to put you a little bit closer. Okay, so we start, you know, just to establish a boundary, just to do a few stitches if you want to establish a boundary. Okay, now the advantage of this one is that it's quite a bit of blocking, okay? The confetti might be around here, but in the blocking side, okay, we got over here number 2. This one is all the way around, number 2 here, and number 2 here, and number 2 here, right? So we can use that one as to establish the boundaries from frame 1, so you won't go over and you won't go crazy or get confused, because if you establish that boundary of the frame 1, you just focus on that one, okay? So number 2 is telling me the 2-1 over here is telling me that is the 310, right? the DMC code. So what I do is I go to the fabric, look for the 310 symbol, and it's the green square. Okay, so now how do I find in the middle of all this frame one? Okay, because frame one is this one over here, this part over here on the top left, if you can see it over here. Okay, so where do I find frame one? Okay, so we got I just was looking at it last night, and it's not that hard as long as this is when you really do a counter thing, honestly, to be honest. Okay, you got the frame of the house over here, right? You can use like a little landmark, just like when you're driving and you kind of lost, somebody tell you, if you see this store, you just make a right over there. Well, the same concept can be applied over here. You got the frame of the house over here, so that means that I'm close to it. Now, number 2 over here, okay, number 2, which is the 310, are very close to these 3x, and the 3x and the x's are $37.99, and that's color number 32. So you go over here, color number 32, and you know that is the light blue square. So here we go. Okay, and since I'm gonna use the 310, and 310 is number 2. Okay, I'm gonna grab the needle because I'm gonna be using that one. Also, I use a pin to mark the color that I'm using so I don't get confused. A pin head right there, because I know I'm gonna be using that color. Okay, we're gonna start with the black one. So what I'm gonna do is find, looking at this, right, is somewhere right around here. So I need the black with the $37.99. Okay, so it's supposed to be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, right? And then 1, 2, 3. That's the one. Yeah, it's right here. Right here is where I'm gonna start. So I'm gonna put my needle right there, because I'm gonna start with this black one. Okay, first, like I said, I'm gonna create the boundaries of the frame. This is something new that I'm trying though. So I'm gonna grab my strand of black, and according to this, I'm probably gonna need about 3 or 4 of this. Or you can put the whole thing in there. I'll take the knot out, right? I'm gonna grab me 5 strands just in case. Because the thing is, I want to be able, and the rest got messed up. That's okay. All that I have to do is put it back in the same normal way. Why I got this all messed up? This was okay last night. Sorry guys, I didn't know this was gonna make me look bad. It's kind of messed up. Last night it came out real nice and neat, and yeah, when I was testing for the video, and right now what I'm doing is stretching it again. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna show you to avoid this in the future. Because all you have to do is, since we're using that color for a little bit, okay, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna turn it around like this and put it in here. Okay, put the whole thing here. Now this one, these 5 strands, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick one by one, and this one individuals I'm gonna go on the top, and believe me, it's easy to pick up. I'm gonna leave one outside, okay, like I said, you use the method that you want. I'm just telling you why I do this, okay? And why I use this method, because it's always to know everybody's method to see, you know, what best suits you. Oh, this one, no. This one we're going to use it right now, okay? Because we're going to start stitching. I'm with my Diet Coke, so I'm going to have to take a break once in a while. For some reason, when I speak English, my mouth gets dry. I don't know. This is very weird. Very, very weird. Where is my needle? Oh, right here. And my needle just came off. From right here. So, to pick up the thread, and you just have to fan it around, okay, real good. Okay, you just have to fan it around. And you, to be easier, you can hardly see it because this is black. To make it easy, you're gonna pick out the thread that is closest to you, because I found that trick, and it doesn't get tangled on me. You're gonna let it ride like this. That's it. Okay. Now this is 14 counts that needs 2 strands. What I do is I fold the strand in half, because I hate to work on these long strands. I use the loop method to anchor the thread. You're gonna see it. So I take these 2 strands. But something that I learned recently is the stitch will look better, and it will be easier to you if you pass it through a thread wax. So when I fold it in half, I'm gonna pass both, I mean the whole thing, through the wax, because you don't want to over wax it either. Okay, so that is that. And now we're gonna thread the needle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the pin that I have where the needle is. Although I do remember, but this is for your benefit. And And then I'm gonna use a threader because there is no way in hell in life that I can thread this with the way my hands are. Okay, I'm gonna thread both parts in there, through there. This is black and I'm doing this far away from my eyesight. I'm telling you guys, I need a new parts on my body. Okay, we thread the needle. We leave for a little bit. Now, let me put my, now to start, threading the boundaries. That's the stitching that we're gonna do today. I'm gonna keep on the black because there's a lot of blocking on the black. You see, I'm gonna do all these back. So we're gonna thread the needle, but I'm gonna do it within the boundaries of the frame. Okay, like I said, I'm gonna do it within the boundaries of the frame, so I can work on the frame one to see how this goes. This is an experiment for me too. So I go by the chart when I'm trying to work out the boundaries of the frame. Okay, so here it is. That's the one. Nope. Okay, I got lost. 4, 2. It's supposed to have 2. Here it is. 4, 2, and 2, and 3. Okay, here it is. Number 3 is 317, but over here is the X. Okay, because I'm looking at this over here that it has an X on the side, and I'm looking that over here has a number 3. So what I do is I look at the color, at the symbol in the fabric. So I'm supposed to start before the 2. I'm gonna start over here in the second, no there, in here, in this second one. That's where I'm supposed to start. So what I use using the loop method is you put the needle through here, right? And then you come out right here, and then you're gonna go through both of this. That's why you can use one strand and double it. What is that little thing that came off in here? Okay. So, and then pass over here, and then you go to the next one. And now this is, okay, right there, right? So, and I like to use half stitch going up and completing going down. So what I do is I do this, and then the other half stitch is coming down. I need to get this closer to me because I'm seeing things that I don't like, and we are in the dark over here a little bit. Things like this and not, or I'm seeing things. I'm sorry guys, I'm trying to look closer over here. Now I fix it. Okay, so I come down here again, and I'm going to go to the next one, which is the same color, and stitching it up. Okay, this section. Well, now before we continue, I need to fix this. I don't use a frame, but I'm gonna be using this, which I have the video. I think I got this from either FG Normal, I don't remember, but I will put the video up where I got it from. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold this right this way, so it'll be easier for me, and put these ankles in here. Okay, sorry about that. So here we go, and now we're going to continue over here because you want to take the chance. Let me pull this back a little bit. We want to take the chance of all the green one, the 310 that we can do over here on this side of the boundary of the frame one or the segment one that we're trying to do. Okay, so we already start stitching. Like I said, I use the I use the half stitch going up, here, since I want to start like I say, I use the half stitch going up, the other half to come down, but I'm trying to do this row up and then we finish that side. Oh no, I did this wrong. So I just put it back here. Okay. We're doing one section of the boundary, because remember over here you don't have to establish boundary. It's down here at the row part, and you can guide by yourself by putting your first stitches in there. So I just have to go over this. In this case, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go down this road, because you use your technique to go around. This is why it's so easy stamp cross stitch, because you have the color code, right? And you can go through it. You don't have to be like a bobblehead looking constantly to the chart to see if you're positioning your next thread in the correct place. Now in here, when you're coming down and you need to do the other stitch, you will probably have to move the let me move it a little bit more. Sorry guys. Oh, come on. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to, oh, and I forgot to do the one up there, so let me go back. Because I should have done that one first. But that's okay, it's only 2 stitches away. Trying to, this is what I don't do with this method, you know, one coming down and coming up. I like to use that method where you put the needle through one hole and then you come out of the other hole you're gonna do. So, and I'm always oops. Here again, I'm gonna have to I'm trying to see what the needle is coming out. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes the color runs over the other symbol, but you have to keep it clear within the 4 holes, okay? So when it's time for you to do that symbol, so you know you have to go there. Okay, now here's the situation. Yeah, it's okay. It's not that it's a knot or anything in here. It's just that they're so close together that they look very tight, which I like it anyway. Okay, so we are at the bandering of the frame, right? You could continue if you want to, but since I'm doing it by segment fragmentation, I'm not going to do that now. However, we got over here that in order to jump in here, right, you will have to jump 1, 2, 3, and I don't like to jump that much. So in order to close, we're gonna use the loop method again, and you just pass the needle where the needle is coming from. You go to the opposite hole and you come back where the needle is coming from, right? And I forgot to tell you, oh God, I was looking at the camera view binder when I pulled this, and I shouldn't have pulled this. Okay, now you pass the needle through the thread. You leave it a little loop, don't do like I did, and then you go back, because the knot is gonna come back out here, and voila. And all you have to do is pass your thread to anchor it. That's it. Now we're just gonna do a little bit over here because we really need to finish establishing the fragment boundary. I'm gonna have to take the clips out because they're bothering me right now for this, and maybe when I have the thing close to me, then I can do it. So the next one is this one. When you still have a little bit, the camera finished and I have to start. I go behind, and in the center of the, I come out through the center of the square that I'm gonna do where the area one I'm gonna start, right, just like that. Okay, right in the same place, same level of the cementation frame that I'm gonna do. Then I pull up, but I make sure that when I pull up, right, I lift a little bit and I hold that little bit with my finger, because we're coming back here, down here in the same middle of the square. We're gonna come back. They call this the pinch stitch. some people use it to close it, and you gotta be careful when you pull that you don't pull the whole thing, and then you start stitching. We're just gonna do this part, okay, because I'm running out of thread, one, and number two, I want to finish doing the segmentation. The first frame that we're going to do. I put it in the wrong place. That's not where it goes. That's the blue color. We gotta go through here. The dark blue. I'm gonna leave that one like that. If you use the hoop, you cannot do this technique, and this technique goes faster, way faster. Okay. We're coming down. We're not doing no more because I'm almost done with this thread, and we need to keep on moving to the other side. Okay, since I cannot see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right through here, and then we're going to do the loop again, and this thread is gone. Voila. We're gonna go through there, and we're gonna close it over here. Okay, we're done with this one thread, right? Remember, I'm working along the chart because I'm trying to find out where are the points for the first frame that we're doing for this one. Okay, and my camera is asking me to change battery. I will be right back. Hello, I just changed the battery. I was threading, but something that I forgot to tell you, when you're gonna pass the thread to the wax, try to make it even so they won't tangle with each other. Okay. They don't get twisted within them. So let's do this again. Like I said, I fold it in half because I use the loop method. Okay, and again, I don't want to get you confused. Once you start, even for the small ones, all you have to use is these symbols. Forget about the chart. The chart is for if you wanted to give it to somebody else or later do that as a counter cross stitch, it's okay. But you use the symbols over there to pick up your thread. That's why it's so important either to kit it up one way, whatever way is easier by numbers. Okay, so we are continuing in our saga of establishing the boundary of the segment. Okay, so you got already these first ones, and I see a little mistake over here that I'm gonna have to fix later on. Okay, so once you establish the boundaries over here, because you already got this part, the bottom part, okay, you can do this one based on the same level of this one. Now we need to do this part, okay, and this part number 2 is along with number 6, and number 6 over here is 413, and I look at the symbol over here. 413 is the plus sign, so I need to know, and I think it's that is the one down here, right close to the, or inside. Let's see. Yeah, here's a 2 plus sign. You don't do this part. This part belongs to the second fragment, but here it is. And I'm going by the positioning in the chart and the positioning in the fabric. So here is your boundary from this point of view. So let's get started stitching in there. we're gonna do the loop to close, come back in, and that's it. Here it is, and we can continue over here with the black now, right? Because over here you don't need the boundary, the line is already there. We're going to continue with the black on this line, right? Remember, don't go this way, just keep on within the boundaries, and then we'll be able to do the first frame. Okay, so I'm going to keep on stitching, right? And I'm going to keep on stitching going up, and then I'm going to try to start from here, and the rest all I have to go by these 2 stitches, by this one and this one. So again, we're going to try the pin stitch over here on this one. Well, I'm not gonna do, well, yeah, I'm gonna do this one because it's part of the boundary. So for the pinch stitch, like I said, I'll show you the loop again if you need to, or you can rewind the video. You go in the center of the symbol, come back over here, make sure you leave a little bit of tail. You're gonna grab that tail with your finger, either your index or the next one. You're gonna come back in the center of the symbol, but you're gonna use another position to go in. You don't come back in on the same way you came in. It takes a little perseverance to do this, and patience, but it's worth it, and you don't have a lot of stuff cutting off. In this case, I'm not going to use the up and down. I'm just going to do the full stitch in here. But I'm going to come back up here because it's only one stitch away, and let me see. I like to plan of what I'm doing, so I'm going to go all the way up here, and then finish over here, and then I tackle this section in there. I'm trying to use this method where you pass the needle, divide the threads, and then go through it, because I will keep the thread straight. Sometimes I'm in such a rush to do this, that, but this one we have, woof, what, until Turkey Day? To do it. Yeah, when you do this, you gotta turn around the fabric. That's why you see a lot of movement on my video. You shouldn't be afraid to do a stamp cross stitch. It's so easy. We're gonna review it at the end. I'm gonna review, but first we're gonna finish the fragmentation when we are ready to wrap up. Gonna again, to close it with the needle coming out, I come out through the opposite hole and then come back up where the needle is, leave a loop. You could leave a smaller loop. I just wanted to show you. Close it, pass the needle through the loop, close it, and go back in right there, and the knot comes out, and then you close. And that's it. Now I'm gonna see right through here that I have okay, so I gotta be here. Yep, it's right here. So here comes the pinch again. No, you don't want it between the two. You want it right here in the middle of it. God, it won't. Every place except the middle. Oh, here you go. Here it is. I'm sorry, guys. Here it is. Here it is in the middle. This one I'm going to do a full stitch. Again, the thread is coming out of here, okay, and we're gonna go through the opposite hole. We come back through the same, whoops, we come back through here, pull it up, make sure the loop is straight. You can do it through, pass the needle through the loop, so for those who are thinking about trying stamp cross stitch, I recommend you start with the small one. If you are a daredevil like me, you can start with this one, but you should watch. So we have established the base for the boundary threads. We're gonna let's stitch a little bit over here, okay? So it's clearly marked over here, and once you do that, all you have to do is go by the line and pick up the next color, the next symbol, and the next thread, and keep on going. So everything between here is gonna be this. Everything between here, you know, from these base threads, it's gonna be frame one. Over here is amplified so you can see better, okay? But if you're gonna try a stamp stitch, a stamp cross stitch, I suggest you start with the small one. I'm sorry. For some reason my voice is going crazy. So I'm gonna do a little bit of stitching over here. I'm gonna be quiet so I can, and I will show you. I gotta fix something over here, but I will do that off camera. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through here. I'm going to start through this one. So and through this one. Nope, through this one. Yeah, because the fabric is stiff, it takes a little bit of effort, but if you like to persevere, you can do it. You can do this. This is not as confusing. Some people try to paint it. It's just a matter of learning what to match. Like I said, this is the green one, right? And you match over here. This is the 310 and it's the color number 2. Color number 2, as you saw it when I was putting the last 4 color, you get it from the cotton that came back, and then you kit it up either this way or whatever way it is, but it should have the number on the top. Okay, you don't go by the DMC code except to know which color of thread and to make sure that everything matches. I'm gonna make sure that I have these correct. So I'm moving my needle, yes, I'm in the right place. So when I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it sideways. So I'll be doing the full stitch. Okay, I'm gonna continue up here, but I'm gonna stop it right here. Okay, as you can see, like I said, I have established the base stitches to establish the frame, the first frame. You see this line, the boundaries of that frame, and it also goes with this. You see these lines over here and this. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna keep on working on the black, and if you can see, the fabric also has a number 2, which is important. Number 2, and it's the green square. So all these green squares that you see over here, let me get you closer. All these green squares are gonna be in black, the dark ones, okay? They're gonna be in black, and the next time you see it, you're gonna see it that I am within the frame, okay? So we can start working this by frame to see how far we can get advanced. And reviewing what the stamp cross stitch is, when you get the kit, like I said, you get the chart, right? The chart has its own symbols, and this chart is in case you want to do it yourself, okay? And you get the fabric already with the picture printed on it. Okay, and all these colors that you see are symbols. Sometimes it's a block completely colored, and sometimes it's a symbol like this one. And you have to go by the symbols over here. Okay, the only reason I use a chart is to establish the borderline for the first frame that we're gonna do. But the chart has a different symbol, so you have to look like number 2, for example, over here and down here and here. Okay, number 2, and number 2 is over here is 310, right? So then you go to the fabric and look for the 310. You know that is the the green square, and then you start stitching on the green squares. That's how we, in this case, we use the chart with the fabric. Okay, if you want to do it this way, that's fine. If you want to pick up any color, right, and don't do it by frame, all you have to do is look at this down here. Nothing else. Unless you get confused, now you know how to look in the chart. Okay? If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Again, we have a Facebook group. We will help each other over there. And I help you over here too. And I invite you to join the group. It's Beaded Stitches and Stamp Cross Stitch, because we also are doing beaded stitches, and we are in the process of a stitch along of an event. The tutorial, which I also going to include over here for the beaded stitches, is a very complete tutorial. Okay, I hope this encouraged you. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. Okay, remember to kiss and hug your fur baby from Mickey and I. Until the next time, much love and peace to all of you. Bye.